Yo, yo, what's going on, chat? What's going on, chat? How y'all feeling tonight? This is Dr. Sean, Dr. Chiefess Sunflower, back with another live, and we are on day 22 of the Consistency Project, showing up every day just to bring you positive energy and help us go from hood to hood and break generational curses, okay? But tonight we got a whole nother topic, because in order to go from hood to hood, you have to pay attention to the economy sometimes. So this is gonna be like an economic stream, just talking about what's going on, just, you know, vibing and chilling. I want to know how y'all feel about the economic catastrophe that's brewing. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you must be living under a rock, because this is just all I'm seeing on my feed sometimes. Okay, so how y'all feeling? Let's get a vibe check. If you watching this on the replay, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching from. So yeah, guys, tonight, I've just been really trying to not panic, because there is so much panic news going on, and honestly, I want to focus on something else, but it's almost impossible with the status of the world right now. So my Niji, I see y'all to my Niji out there. How are y'all handling all of this news about the government shutting down, or the government going bankrupt, or the economy just tanking? How are we dealing with this news? Because there have been some things from this morning when I got up to the nighttime, and who knows what tomorrow brings, because it's the end of the month, and they say in the first of the month the shelves will starting to deplete. There's just a lot going on that we got to talk about, my Niji. There's a lot going on that we have to talk about. Okay. So first of all, let's dig into it. So if you haven't heard, this morning there was some misleading news about Amazon supposedly showing the amount of tariffs that will be added to items requiring importation or to be imported. The Chinese giant Temu, Alibaba, have already started to add these tariff fees to the checkout, so you can see exactly how much is charging us. Okay, now the thing about the tariffs is the president, y'all president, that ain't my damn president, the president said that the tariffs will be paid by other people. But the more we learn about tariffs, they're just a tax on us. You see how the companies adding the tax, and we have to pay it. Nobody else has to pay it. On top of inflation being high, on top of the stock market plummeting, going up and down and plummeting, on top of groceries being super high, eggs being 60 to 80% higher. So there are a lot of indications that we are entering a recession, and maybe even a depression, which is something that they won't put on the news just yet, just because it's new. But I have been paying attention, my Niji, and what I've been reading and finding and researching has not been good with this economy. But y'all know me, this is a bittersweet thing, it's a bittersweet moment, because maybe it's time for this lying ass, ghetto ass government to crumble. Maybe it's time for them to actually admit the truth about the land and how they acquired it. Because I've been seeing this morning, they were calling Jeff Bezos, who's the CEO or the owner of Amazon, they said he was committing, you know, a threat to the government by threatening to put the tariff prices on goods. He got a call from Donald Trump this morning, and obviously he said that wasn't true. He wasn't planning on doing it. But honestly, my Niji, I'm gonna need to know how much the tariffs is, because I will clearly not order whatever the hell they trying to make me pay more for. It's crazy. Some sources are saying he's using the tariffs to get money to make tax cuts, but making the poor middle class pay for these tax cuts. So it's a lot of stuff going on. Like, it's a lot of stuff going on. The U.S. job market is depleting, which is a sign of recession. So once the jobs deplete, inflation goes up, and something new that we haven't really seen yet is an issue with the supply chain. So this is how we get a lot of things are made in, like, a lot is made in China. A lot of things made in China. So much is made in China. But now, who knows what the hell is gonna happen, my Niji? Like, who knows what's gonna happen? So let me see my notes from today. Who knows what the hell is going on? So just some things that I found. So to the Niji out there, I found this article, and it was just talk. It says Native American news. So we are American Indian Niji to Turtle Island. Native Americans are the pretending to be us, and it's time for us to unlearn this pseudo-ass history. So I found an article says that the tribes can access $2.2 million to help house tribal veterans, including Oneida Nation. The Oneida Nation is the only tribe in Wisconsin that receives funding through the Tribal HUD VASH program. So they have all these damn programs that we, taxpayers, Niji, indigenous people, are paying to pretendians who are not supposed to be getting this money. So this whole government is a scam. It's time for them to stop acting like they're doing something great. How could, it's just time. It's just time for them to tell the fucking truth. Like, it's just time. All signs point to it is time. Like, y'all don't know what you're doing. Y'all tried to hold copper tone melanated Niji down for so long and ended up shooting yourself in the foot. Now y'all looking at us crazy, talking about y'all ain't gonna. No, y'all shoot yourself in the foot by lying. MAGA last year voted for this guy because they thought that it would hurt us. Now think about how sad that is. Now that's some karma for your ass. It really is. Okay? Now in this, what I just read about the Native Americans getting this money that we paying for, it says more than $2 million federal funding, keyword federal government funding, will go to expand rental assistance for Native American veterans who are unhoused or at risk of becoming homeless, as the nation's federal housing agency faces cuts to grants and staffing. Now, what about my ancestors that I found in my genealogy who fought in these wars, who fought in all of these little civil wars that I found, that I have evidence of? When they came back here, they didn't get shit. The government didn't do shit but reclassify them and told them they was less than 3/4 of whatever their standard was. Even though we contain the melanin, that protects you from the sun. So how could we be less than anything? You know what I mean? But this is what they are doing, and it's time for them to stop fucking lying. I am so sick of these lies. That's why things are crumbling now. You can't just keep taking from people. Then it says the U.S. Housing and Urban Development Secretary Scott Turner announced $2.2 million new funding Thursday on the Oneida Nation's reservation, which spans 6,500 acres. Oh, let me get that right. 65,000 acres in Brown and Outagamie counties. So that's what they be doing behind the scenes, giving them money, acting like they're the real indigenous people, and locking us out. So you remember last week we talked about the Girl Scouts. Well, that was this week. No, that was last week. We talked about the Girl Scouts, the Order of the Red Men, the Pocahontas Council. All these colonizers were able to wear our tribal clothing, talk, steal our language, steal our culture, and then they banned us from wearing our clothes, banned us from playing the sports that we created, just banned us from doing it so that they could do it. And now y'all have these fake chiefs in here, fake pretendians in here, who y'all didn't ban, because you remember they banned the real ones, but they did not ban the pretendians. So now these pretendians have gotten into the government and just taking, you know, they just robbing us blind, my niche, and we don't even know. We half of us are so asleep to this knowledge, like we just so asleep. We don't even understand what's going on. We don't. We really don't. We really don't. So in another report that I found today, when I was just digging, and whenever there's a crisis like an economic catastrophe brewing, we have to pay attention. Unfortunately, we just have to pay attention because it impacts all of us. And me as a business owner is most certainly impacting business. I'm a little worried about what's going to happen when the supplies do dry up, when all the dentists start buying all the supplies that we get from China, the medical supplies. So a lot of people will end up going out of business, like, you know. Now, another report that I found, it was just talking about Shein, Shein. I don't shop on Shein or Temu, but the prices skyrocket by up to 377%. 377%, my niji. Now that is bananas. That is bananas. So that's really crazy. Let's move this here. 377% increase, and that's with Shein, due to the tariffs, my niji. Like, this word has become like a prick in our lives. This word, tariffs. It's just like, what is going on? So if you were getting all the cheap stuff from Temu and Shein, I've shopped on Temu before. Half of the stuff ain't quality anyways, but it's cheap as hell. So it's like, But, you know, this is the new price. And if you guys don't know, a lot of the stuff from China, unfortunately, even when I go to like TJ Maxx, or it's even in the grocery stores on groceries now, it has this cancer warning. It's like the California proposition. You'll see these little warnings. So if I see anything like that on sunglasses, I found it on food, I found it on clothes, I don't even buy it. So some of the stuff from China anyways isn't really safe. It's just not safe. So that's one study that I found. So Shein prices are skyrocketing by 377%, my niji. That is crazy. Alright? And then in another poll that I found, it says that a new Axios or so the poll is through Axios. I don't know who the hell this is. Axios. PRRI poll says that 52% of Americans see President Trump as a dangerous dictator. I said this yesterday. He's acting like a dictator. Or even take the tater off, that's what he acting like. Okay? Even 17% of Republicans agree that he's a dangerous dictator. 40% say they are in favor of what he is doing. He is firing federal workers en masse, gutting diversity programs, and trying to deport anyone who doesn't fit his vision of greatness. Now, at first, I don't even know how I thought this. When he was clearing out the Smithsonian Museum with the African American history, I thought that from a Niji standpoint, okay, maybe he wants to get rid of the pseudo history because we've been reclassified and we have this whole new identity that we embrace and that we made lit as fuck, but it's not our true identity because you see, we can't get those benefits that they keep giving to pretendians. But at the same time, they outlawed us from claiming our indigenous self. So it's some weird shit going on here, my Niji. It's just weird as fuck. It's really becoming really kind of creep and suspect. Like, y'all gotta pay attention. I know it's creep and suspect. I don't care what you say. It's creep and suspect as fuck. So it says, yeah. So that's what's going on. That's how people are feeling across the country about Trump and his shenanigans and this ghetto government that has been ghetto since day one. Because how you come from a whole other land, commit war on the indigenous people, start making laws and banning things and just unaliving people, and now you in control, and now you the government. How long you think that shit gonna fly? Like, how long y'all thought y'all was gonna be able to do that? Just treat people like they don't even belong, take their customs and take their tribal words and wear their headdresses and pretend like you're them, and the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts and the Masons and all of these different, white supremacy groups. How long did you think this was gonna last by being so fucking evil? Do you think evil lasts forever? Do you think pseudo history lasts forever? Do you think the government, who is founded on a bunch of lies, is gonna last forever? Like, it's just sad. It's just really sad in this country. It's just sad because when you look at China, when we got access to Red Note, and you see how they focus on giving their citizens houses. A lot of them own their houses and they're really nice. They don't work like crazy. But now things are different in China with the supply chain. So everything, I guess, this an attack because they expose their stuff on Red Note? What is this? Did Donald Trump see them living like that and say, you know what? We're not sending them no more money. We finna mess up this trade and put everything back here so we can. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't really know what he was thinking. I don't really know. But I thought that he was maybe trying to tell the truth. But there was something that I found today that was so fucking disturbing, guys. Because I always tell y'all about Christopher Columbus and how he was such a jackass. How he was such a liar and a thiever and an unaliver and a kidnapper. He would just pull up on the islands over here in the West Indies, the Bahamas, Haiti. He would just pull up on these islands full of people. You could read this for yourself in his journal. Y'all already know hey, go read the Christopher Columbus journal. That first one is going to rock your mind, and you will never look at life the same. You will never look at this shit the same. So he would just pull up on these islands, say, hey, kidnap this lady and these kids, put them on the boat. Get this for I got to show the King and Queen Isabel and Fernandez, or whatever the hell their name is, that I stole these people. Oh, he was bringing people, putting them on the boat, have no intentions of bringing them back to their home, getting them to show him, like, people was jumping off the boat. The journal is so crazy. And the way he would pull up, stick up a cross in the ground and say, oh, we're going to rename this land. Oh, there's people living here. Why are they running? Oh, we going to get these cheap gifts that don't mean nothing in Spain and Portugal, but they're giving us stuff. Oh, what kind of fruit is this? Oh, these are beautiful people. His whole energy was just psycho as fuck. Psycho as fuck. So this is how we end up here, because it was starting on some bullshit. It's like planting bad seeds and expecting roses to grow. Like, you planting seeds that weeds are growing. Weeds are growing, guys. This is a garden full of fucking weeds. Okay? So it says 46% of toy companies in the U.S. say they expect to go out of business within weeks. Weeks. So I don't know. A lot of people have kids, and it's the Christmas time. A lot of these companies rob the people blind. So 40% of toy companies, they going out of business in weeks. All right. Then it says 128,000 federal workers lost their job in the last 68 days. 128,000 federal workers gone. You know what I'm saying? I need you. That's a lot lot of people that all of a sudden working on these jobs thinking that they straight gone. 128,000 federal workers. And then it says, let's go to the next statistic. 40% of cargo ships leaving China. So 40% of the ones leaving China with stuff that we need, businesses, 40% of cargo. My cursive is not the best, y'all. 40% of cargo leaving China gone. Like, what? Empty. Okay. Let's get into some more stats, because I want us to be on top of this. Going from hood to hood, you run into journeys, you run into unexpected things. No matter where you are in your process of fighting for your dream, no matter where you are, you're going to go through things. You know what I mean? You're going to go through things. What up, Zach B? Hi, Doc. How was your day? Smooth. Did any team try to act brave before you showed them who's the boss with the forceps? The teeth don't control the doctor. I run the teeth. But none of them misbehaved today. Alright, so you guys, shoes are expected to go up. Guess how many percent? Shoes now. 87% increase on the price of shoes. So you got back to school in the US this summer. 80% increase in shoes. Okay? Because shoes are made where? In China. Yes, it's getting real, my Niji. It's getting real. 87%. What else can we expect with these tariffs? Apparel is expected to go up 65%. So the clothes is going up. Apparel. 65%. I mean, here, a lot of us overbuy clothes anyways. But shoes, clothes, going up. U.S. exports expected to drop. So the amount of things that the United States is shipping out is going to be dropping 18%. So this is U.S. exports. So we are living in an economy where things are truly changing. Even from a dental office standpoint, from a dentist standpoint, it's going to hit every area of life. Kind of like coronavirus. When coronavirus came, it impacted the students. The students had to go to school online from K through college. And that was unheard of. When I was in college just a couple years ago, we couldn't even go to school online. It wasn't even a thing. Like, they shunned upon that. When you wanted to take an online class, it was like, oh no, like what? But when the economy changed in 2020 and the global shutdown with coronavirus, you had to go to school online. So now online is not frowned upon as much as it was before. So things are changing, my Niji. Things are truly, truly changing. Then it says tourism in the U.S. is down 20%. People aren't trying to travel with all of this stuff going on. Like, all these countries battling each other. It's an economic war. Like, who would have thought 2025 is supposed to bring an economic war? It's supposed to be the year of prosperity and the glow up and, summer vacations and fun. Like, it's always something. It's always something with this ghetto ass government. All foreign goods up to at least 10. I don't know if that's 100% up in price. Foreign goods. So everything is going up. Alright. Now, when ABC News Terry Moran asked Donald Trump to respond to voters who may be concerned that the rising costs are not what they signed up for, Trump responded with this. He said, well, they did sign up for it. Actually, this is what I campaign on. So he campaigned on, like, causing disruption, making America great again bullshit, And all these people just flock like, yes, let's make it racist again. Let's just fight for white supremacy and all of these things. And now it's coming to bite all of them in the ass. So he's like, yeah, they signed up for this, but we just didn't know that it wasn't gonna be just one-sided. So it's a lot going on. Now the last thing that I want to talk about with Trump, which is why I don't really fuck with him. I don't. Because, Christopher Columbus, like I said, he never discovered America. Indigenous people were already here. Copper tone indigenous people. You just go to the art from other countries in the 1400s, the 1500s. There are melanated people here with Chippewas, Afros, like the noses, the phenotypes. It's just everywhere. But it's banned here. Christopher Columbus was so evil. Like, you guys, when I say he was evil, it's just like when I read his journal, the way his mindset was, because back in those days, if you're writing, you're not thinking, okay, in 500 years, someone's going to read my journal and I'm going to be embarrassed by the shit that I said. No, he just wrote what he said. He was lying to his crew about how many knots they had went, or how many leagues is what it was called, that they had went on the ocean. He was lying to make it sound like they hadn't went that far, even though it was a really, really far journey. It took like months for them to get here. And then when they got here, he was just so like psychotic. Like, how do you just pull, like how Donald Trump, the same thing he just did. Okay, the Gulf of Mexico, we're gonna name this the Gulf of America. This is the same type of Christopher Columbus type mindset that I'm seeing right here to this day, because that's what he did. He pulled up, saw people living on this land, and said, you know what, we're gonna stick a cross in the ground here, put up a fort. The cross was the fort. Yes, like the Bible cross, the Christian cross was the fort. So they would pull up, put the cross up, and say, we're gonna name this piece of land this, and we're gonna come back and unalive these people. Like, how you thinking like this? How are y'all even thinking like this? But this is what he did, right? So it said President Trump made it clear on Sunday that he would not follow his predecessor's practice of recognizing Indigenous People Day, which they all learn about anyway, alongside Columbus Day in October. He said it's just gonna be Columbus Day. So he still believes in Christopher Columbus. So I can't fuck with him 0%. It's negative 100%. Trump. Okay? He says, accusing Democrats of denigrating the explorer's legacy as he pressed his campaign to restore what he argues are traditional American icons. This is what America has as a fucking icon? Christopher Columbus? The lamest idiot psychopath I ever read about in my life? Like, what? It says, Democrat Joe Biden was the first president to mark Indigenous People Day, issuing a proclamation in 2021 that celebrated the invaluable contributions of resilience of Indigenous people and recognized their inherent sovereignty. But y'all have the Indigenous people mixed the hell up. Talking about sovereignty. So these people, they want to continue to ignore melanated, copper-toned people who built this country, who are still here, creating the vibes, creating the swag, creating the music, the basketball, the football, everything. We are everywhere. When they go and compete with other countries with tennis, with basketball, with all these things, track and field, you can't leave out the Niji. Like, you just can't do it. It's so confusing. It said the proclamation noted that America, quote, was conceived on a promise of equality and opportunity for all people, unquote, but that promise, quote, we have never lived up to. That is especially true when it comes to upholding the rights and dignity of Indigenous people who were here long before colonization of the Americas began. Now, these people playing games on our top, my Niji. They just playing games on our top. Okay, so Trump said on Sunday in a social media post to declare, I'm bringing Columbus Day back from the ashes. He said on his Truth Social site that, quote, the Democrats did everything possible to destroy Christopher Columbus, his reputation, and all of the Italians that love him so much, unquote. Now my Niji, this is to my Niji now. What the fuck, Trump? What? That's psycho. That's psycho activity. That is psycho activity. Psycho. Then it says the federal holiday, the second Monday in October, was still known as Columbus Day, the second Monday in October, during Biden's term, but also Indigenous Peoples Day. That's been a long time goal of activists who wanted to shift the focus from commemorating Columbus' navigation to the Americas to his and his successors' exploitation of the indigenous people he encountered here. He did. He exploited them, us, kidnapped them, unalived them. He did so much atrocity. Okay? Though Trump has long objected to telling the country's history through a lens of diversity, so Trump objects this, and oppression, the holiday seeks to restore its primacy, was added to the calendar as a nod to the country's growing diversity. Columbus expeditions never landed on North American mainland, so how the fuck is he an icon in America if he never landed here? It's because he represented evil. He represented separation. He represented white supremacy. He represented everything that this government still represents today. And it's a shame. If you stand with this government, if you believe in this government, if you support this government, you are ashamed. Because what they do, the secrets that they keep covering up, they keep hiding, is why it's crumbling down now. Because you continue to neglect, reject the true Niji of Turtle Island. Period. Exclamation point. So it says Columbus expedition never landed on the North American mainland, let alone any other places that would become the 50 states. But the native of Genoa became increasingly commemorated in the United States as an Italian immigrants flocked to the country and politicians sought to win their support. You can't make this stuff up. So today, this is the things that I've been finding and reading and trying to understand. Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on with this ghetto government? Oh, they're just too ghetto for me. It said, indeed, now, I don't know if y'all knew this. Indeed, it was the lynching of 11 Italian-American immigrants in New Orleans in 1891 that led to the first Columbus Day celebration in the United States, led the following year by President Benjamin Harrison. Now, what the hell they got to do with me? What they got to do with the indigenous people? What they got to do with anything? They just be making up holidays out their ass. I'm telling y'all. Then it says President Franklin D. Roosevelt designated Columbus Day as a national holiday in 1934. How? Because why? To propagate evil. To highlight people who were very evil, who helped them accomplish their mission, people who were heartless, people who were relentless in their efforts to just do what they wanted to do, take land, that same type of Trump mindset. That's just psychopath mindset. And they continue to talk about the pseudo history and the pretendians, but Haiti was never succeeded. And if you know the color of the Haitians are on the same area of land, even though they're islands, that Christopher Columbus arrived. Now, do you see the color of the Haitians that have been there independent and fought these people? So people migrated towards Haiti, even though they kind of got colonized, but do you see their color? So tell me, it ain't no other color. This is the color that was there, been there, when Christopher Columbus pulled up. It's so sad, y'all. It is so sad what this government is about. Standing on evil. You know how they say stand on business? This is a government that is standing on fucking evil. And I'm sick of it. It says Trump has long complained about Democrats tearing down statues of Columbus. A complaint he made again on Sunday's Post. So he talking about this recently. Like, what? Come on now. In 2017, he spoke out against a review of the 76-foot tall statue of the explorer in New York's Columbus Circle that then Mayor Bill de Blasio had ordered. It remains in place today, but other statues have been defaced and torn down. So the governor of New York put up a statue of Christopher Columbus in 2017. In 2020, Trump administration paid to restore a Columbus statue in Baltimore that was dumped in the harbor during protests against the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. And now how these things tie together, because Christopher Columbus is racist as hell. People got mad. They're protesting because they're trying to connect the dots. Like, why are people being unalive who are melanated, copper tone? Why are we always the target of y'all evilness? Because y'all don't want the truth to come out about who we are. So y'all try to put up all these flags and all these fake ass people who never even been over here, never even been to New York, but they got a statue of somebody who is evil. And people either go over people's head, but when you have this being taught in school, Christopher Columbus discovered America. When you teach these fucking lies to our kids and teach them that, you know, white supremacy is better than the KKK and the sons of this and all these fucking lies, man. Whatever happens to this government deserves to happen. It deserves to happen. Okay? It deserves to happen. Now that's all the things that I was reading about today. I seen all the shelves are going to go empty about summertime, school time, Christmas time. So this is what is going on. I even seen something saying that they are trying to impeach Donald Trump. And then if they impeach him, they're going to put somebody else in there to do nothing but lie even more. So at this point, my Niji, you know, this economic catastrophe that is brewing, it is just like something that we really need to pay attention to, really stay on top of, but also don't have no fear. Niji, have no fear. Have no fear, because we're going to be okay. It's time for the government to reset, maybe even just fall down. I don't know, but just from the things that I have learned between last year and now, and how my whole educational high school, middle school was all based on lies, it's hurtful. It is hurtful to come out of the matrix, to realize that the government is full of lies, that your whole life is full of a bunch of historic lies, and that your identity has been stolen from you, hidden from you, and mocked with other people who are allowed to use your identity, other people who are allowed to control who you are, and, you know, everything about your history, and to give you a history that just says, okay, your people were slaves. Because when I went and looked up my genealogy, my people were fighting in wars, my people were into agriculture, and they went way, way back, and I didn't run across none of them that were enslaved or none of that. Maybe some people can trace back to that, but you guys have the narrative so wrong. We didn't come from Africa, and it's just a bunch of lies. Trump even knows this. So the fact that he keeps trying to lift up Christopher Columbus, let me know his mindset is based on nothing but fucking evil. It's based on nothing but evil. Nothing but evil, my Niji. So day 22 of this consistency project is just about telling the truth and just trying to understand what is going on with our global economy. A lot of economists are just really pessimistic about the future of America. A lot of the companies are very pessimistic about the future of America. Even the public is becoming to be very pessimistic. People are losing their jobs. And when prices skyrocket, what they are saying is going to happen is that the rich will offer twice as much to pay for something. And if you are poor and you can't afford it, and if there's a little bit left, the rich have enough money to kind of like, hey, I'll give you triple for it, or I'll give you double for it. While people who are in underserved environments, they won't be able to do that. So that's where shit hits the fan. So shit is going to hit the fan, and hopefully, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't see a way out of this. I don't see a way out of this. So this is what I've been on. I never thought that we would be in this condition right now, my Niji. And even when I found out what was going on, like with the pseudo history last year, I was thinking, okay, well, dang, how do we, as Niji, get out of this? Like, what can we do? Because this government just control everything. They just doing everything. They just, I don't know. They're really crazy. And I did not, I said, man, it's going to take 100, 200 years for us to make a difference. I didn't see our ancestors and the spiritual awakening making the atmosphere shift this fast. You know, that's what happens when you have evil energy and you try to hold people down and you lie about who they are and you put the government into this position where you think that you are the ruler. What he said, I'm the ruler and control the world. Let's see what he said. He said he calls himself the king. No, that ain't the one I'm looking for. He called himself the king in the past, but he said, let's see, I want to get it right. I run the country and the world. That's what he said. I. There is no I in team. There's no I in fake government. There's no I in. The only thing there's an I in is lies. So he said, I run the country and the world. This is who MAGA voted for. This is who y'all voted for now. This is who y'all voted for. I'm not saying Kamala was going to be, you know, able to do what she wanted to do. She was just going to be a puppet in there. But this is who y'all voted for. Somebody who said, I run the world and the country. Not just America, but he said he run the whole entire country. Psycho or not? I'm just here to spill the tea, guys. I'm just here to spill the tea because I'm tired of this fake shit. I'm tired of it, man. Every day I wake up with let's watch something. I want to pull up something. We're gonna pull up something so I can show y'all what is going on with this. Cause who is this psycho guy? So let's pull up this screen because I want y'all to see who we dealing with here. Window capture. So this is an old interview, y'all. This is an old interview. Now let's see what this fool said. Let's see what y'all president said. Cause I don't do him. If you fuck with Christopher Columbus, I don't fool with you. If you celebrate Christopher Columbus Day, I don't really fool with you. Like, I just can't fool with you. Cause he was just, he was just too evil for me. Meant no good, guys. No good. So let's see what this guy said. This psychopath said in 5 years ago about this.
The fake news, of which many of you are members, is trying to convince the public to have a recession. Let's have a recession. doing phenomenally well. But one thing I have to do is economically take on China, because China has been ripping us off for many years. President Clinton, President Bush, and President Obama, and others. Should have done this long before me. My life would be much easier, although I enjoy doing it, but my life would be much easier if I just said, let China continue to rip off the United States, all right? It'd be much easier, but I can't do that. We are winning against China. They've lost 2.5 million jobs in a very short period of time. They want to make a deal.
My mic was off, but this is crazy. I gotta be careful with turning my mic on and off, but this guy is psycho. Y'all MAGA people voted for him because y'all thought that he would be racist like all y'all have in the past, and he still is, because he's fucking with Christopher Columbus. But y'all ain't expecting him. Like, this was 5 years ago. He really did tell y'all he was gonna do this, and he did it. He's been screaming this, and now the whole world acting so shocked, but y'all voted him back in again. This is you know what I mean? Like, is this propaganda? Like, what is this? 5 years ago? Come on, man. Stop playing with me.
It's got to be a deal that's good for the United States. Where they want to make a deal, probably we will make a deal. But if I didn't do that, and I'm not doing it, somebody said it's Trump's trade war. This isn't my trade war. This is a trade war that should have taken place a long time ago by a lot of other presidents. Over the last 5 or 6 years, China's made $500 billion. $500 billion. Ripped it out of the United States. And not only that,
so my mic wasn't on. I'm really tripping on this live. Bear with me, guys. So I had to restart this over because some technical difficulties, but you should be able to hear me now. So let's see what he said. Let's rewind it so you can see what he said 5 years ago. So I don't understand why everybody acting so surprised. Like, oh my God, we didn't know he was gonna do this. MAGA, y'all not paying attention, or you just voting on racism. So let's go back. Since the mic is working, I got the audio working. Let's rewind the track. I'm gonna turn my mic off for a second, and hopefully I remember to turn this motherfucker back on.
So taking America into a recession, is it worth it? And do Americans need to
So-
back that up?
the fake news, of which many of you are members, is trying to convince the public to have a recession. Let's have a recession. The United States is doing phenomenally well. But one thing I have to do is economically take on China, because China has been ripping us off for many years. President Clinton, President Bush, and President Obama, and others should have done this long before me. My life would be much easier, although I enjoy doing it, but my life would be much easier if I just said, let China continue to rip off the United States, all right? It'd be much easier, but I can't do that. We are winning against China. They've lost 2.5 million jobs in a very short period of time. They want to make a deal. It's got to be a deal that's good for the United States. Where they want to make a deal, probably we will make a deal. But if I didn't do that, and I'm not doing this, somebody said it's Trump's trade war. This isn't my trade war. This is a trade war that should have taken place a long time ago by a lot of other presidents. Over the last 5 or 6 years, China's made $500 billion. $500 billion. Ripped it out of the United States. And not only that, if you take a look, intellectual property theft, add that to it.
intellectual theft property. What y'all call stealing a whole continent from indigenous people and reclassifying them? Come on, man. Like, psychopaths.
And they had a lot of other things to it. So somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. So I'm taking on China. I'm taking on China on trade. And you know what? We're winning because we're the piggy bank. We're the one that all these countries, including the European Union, wants to rob and takes advantage of. European Union, $200 billion. China.
Y'all robbing the melanated copper-toned indigenous people for 400 years off land, millions and millions of acres. And y'all talking about robbing? Can't make this stuff up. You can't make this up, my Niji.
China, more than $500 billion. Sorry, I was put here by people. I was put here by people to do a great job, and that's what I'm doing. And nobody's done a job like I've done. Now, would China rather wait for a little more than a year and try and get sleepy Joe Biden to negotiate with instead of President Trump? Maybe, but I don't think so. You know why? They're losing too many jobs too fast. They had the worst year in 27 years, but I think it was actually 52 or 54 years. It's the worst year they've had in a half a century. And that's because of me. And I'm not proud of that, but you know what? They want to negotiate. And Sleepy Joe doesn't have a clue. Sleepy Joe said, oh, China's wonderful. Well, China is wonderful for China, but I'm wonderful for the USA.
This fool, this guy, he said he's wonderful for the U.S. This is 5 years ago, guys. This video is 5 years old. He said he was the chosen one. That's why he got reelected. Did y'all know the election, it was just straight, oh, he won. It was no type of recount, none of that. That was planned. These people know what they're doing. Talking about impeaching him. I don't think they're gonna impeach him. They already know that he had this message out way back when. They said he said he was the first president that wasn't scared to start a trade war with China. Shit's about to get real, because he actually did that shit. He actually came in here in 100 days and started a fucking economic trade war. Okay? This is what this guy did. This is what this guy did. Psychopath, man. Psychopath. Truly psychopath. They calling Trump's presidency lawless. 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 That's what they calling it. Lawless. Lawless. Right? Can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't make this stuff up. So, this podcast was more from an economic standpoint, my Niji. To go from hood to hood, you will face some economic challenges. We are facing challenges like never before. Like 2020 came, high schoolers had to go without having a graduation. College students couldn't graduate. They didn't have prom. They had an unprecedented year. Everybody didn't experience that. This year, we're going through something no one has ever experienced. This man told y'all what the hell he was going to do 5 years ago. Now the government acting so confused, so clueless. I feel like they already knew what this man was planning to do. So all the propaganda, they just playing in our face. He's still talking about Christopher Columbus. That should let you know what somebody headed. They still teaching Christopher Columbus discovered America in school, even though the news and stuff know that this isn't true. What do you call that? That's called pseudo history and pretending like something is true and it's not. And the more I find out about this United States government, I don't know parts of it. That's why I want to be sovereign. I don't want no parts of it. I want them to just like pause the brakes for a second, step back, tell the truth, so that we can really start on some truthful playing grounds. Because right now, leading off of evil, trying to keep holding up images of people who was very evil and conniving and made it a way so that you could take and steal land like Christopher Columbus and all these evil people that you keep wanting to highlight, even on the money. Andrew Jackson's on the money. He was the one who went to Florida, at that time Appalachia, where the Creek Indians and what they call now the Seminoles and the Yamasee, all these different tribes of copper tone melanated people were, and started war. But he's highlighted on the money. Are y'all not seeing a trend here? I'm not surprised they don't put Donald Trump on the money one of these days for starting this economic war, crashing the government. Because Andrew Jackson did the same when he was the president. Guess what? He trashed the economy. They was talking trash about him, but guess what he at right now? Glorified on the money. Make it make sense, my Niji. It's not gonna make sense. It's just not gonna make sense to you. He's on the money. George Washington, all these people who believe in this white supremacy and all these groups that we talk about, the Masons and the KKK and the Sons of Republican and the Council of Pocahontas and the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, all these groups perpetuate these narratives. And Trump is no different. He's just no different. None of them are no different. We cannot trust the government. Everybody's seeing this now. Everybody thought that, oh my God, we could continue to play on this white supremacy, racism stuff. But no, baby. Now it's about rich versus poor. It's an economic war. This is going to create an economic catastrophe is brewing. It's brewing. And that doesn't mean that it's not supposed to happen this way. All empires fall. We just didn't anticipate the government falling like this. But with so much truth coming out, with Trump planning to do this 5-6 years ago, I guess he already kind of knew what he was doing. He already said what he was doing. Maybe we weren't paying attention, 5 years ago, this was 2020 when coronavirus was here. He was talking like this. And we were already dealing with enough, and he was talking like this. He couldn't wait to get back into the presidency to do this. And when I just heard that video, if they're making $500 billion a year from exporting and importing and all of these different things, and we are in a deficit of 500, I think he said 500 billion. But when we are in a deficit, then I just don't know. But they're supposed to be this place where they focus on housing, making it not so expensive. A lot of these places, Italy, France, they have free education and things like this. They have free healthcare. We don't have shit because they always want to separate the copper tone, true indigenous people, and give them less than and try to create these class wars. Oh, well, colonizers are better than the Niji, the copper tone. So as long as you try to do that to the people who actually built this land, created a lot of these things, and been here, nothing ever gonna work for this government. I'm just telling y'all. It's just not gonna work, my Niji. It's just really not gonna work. So what I'm hoping during this economic catastrophe that is brewing, what I'm hoping is that the one thing that the government will do is tell the truth. But I'm not really hopeful since Trump is trying to keep Christopher Columbus highlighted. That means he's not learning. He just really thinks he's a dictator. He really thinks he's a king. He really feels like he said, he feels like he's the chosen one. And they put him in there, so he must be the chosen one for them to make these bold moves and not really care. So they put him on the front line and the headline and look like the bad guy, when in reality they knew this was going to happen. They knew. So the stock market is going down. All these stocks that were rising, and they had this big bubble, now they're tumbling. Now they can buy it all up. Guess what? The wealthy get wealthier and the poor get poorer. That's if the stock market don't completely crash and the dollar don't go. It says the dollar's going to zero. It's just a lot of stuff going on right now that you can't even keep up. You can't even keep up. I guarantee tomorrow Trump gonna be done said some new shit. Something else gonna be done happen. And something else gonna be failing. Because tomorrow is the last day of the month. Tomorrow's the last day of the month. And they say in May supposed to start a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't know. But guess what I did, guys? I did get some rice, some beans, started to get some canned goods, starting to just lightly prepare, not going crazy because I don't want to, hoard, but just lightly prepare for a supply chain catastrophe. The truckers are sounding the alarm. The major corporations are sounding the alarm, which is only 3% of people do the hiring. The rest of 97% of people are workers. Only 3% corporate run the world. So they're saying, hey, if with a recession, we got to lay people off. Inflation goes up. So your purchasing power decreases. It decreases. All because the man said, I run the country and the world. And he ain't afraid to say shit like that. He got to be Christopher Columbus, like, grandson or something. Great-great-grandson or something. Because, like, what? It's just terrible. It's terrible activities. Terrible. And it says, President Donald Trump is branding himself as a monarch. Made a declaration on Wednesday. This is in February. Trump adds king rhetoric to actions that critics say exceed his authority. But they're not stopping him. So my question is, my niece, do y'all think that he is going to get impeached? And who is going to be his predecessor if he is impeached? What do you think is going to happen? They're going to eliminate all the tariffs and things go back to normal? Sources are saying he's not going to go back to normal. Not that fast. These are ships we're talking about. Ships take months. Well, they used to take months. I don't know how long they take now to get from China to here. Maybe it takes weeks, but it's not instant. It's not instant. It's not instant. So that's what's going on, guys. And I just want to know how y'all feeling about it. Like, I just talked about so much in one because it's all tied together. It's all tied together. It's all tied together. Okay. And I think that's all I had to get off my chest today. I know I'm on here super duper late, but I still had to come on regardless and keep it going. I wanted to let's see. I'm just checking the temperature real quick to make sure I'm not missing nothing. Make sure I'm not missing nothing, my Niji. Alright. They're calling this the Great Reset. And, the market will explode in 7 days. The stock market is going to explode in 7 days. Truckers are getting screwed. Hold your cash. Mass shortages as China shipments stop. Goodbye, middle class. The crash will start in Texas. Preparing your finances for recession. These are the things that are coming up in my search of this topic. Global chaos. World economy declines. It's about to get ugly. Yeah, guys. So, I don't know, guys. But either way, we must still continue to hold our head up high, my Niji. I can say this ain't our battle, but this is pretty much a global battle. The world is interconnected nowadays. Everything is happening. When one thing happens in one country, it impacts the globe. So the things that is happening in America is impacting the entire globe right now. The whole globe is on alert. Some people might not be. Like, if you wealthy, you might not be really paying attention. This is only for people who, you know, have businesses or in that middle class, lower class threshold. And now they saying middle class is less than 200K. So yeah, because you can't afford a lot. My business is struggling like a bitch, and I'm gonna have to make some tough decisions this year. Do I let it go, give up my dreams of having a dental practice? Do I just let it go? Because the tariffs, and last year was the the hacking. And having this dental practice is a big source of responsibility in this climate, in this economic climate. And I'm being optimistic that we will survive it, but I'm also being realistic and saying, hey, is this a good time to kind of pivot out of this? You guys, I have been trying to escape poverty, being underserved, not having my parents this whole entire time, being this young woman fighting for my dreams and not wanting poverty to just suck me in and just make me feel like I'm nothing and worthless, and all the things that I learned in the history class like it was true. I have been disputing and fighting against it for so fucking long. I say, you know, I don't have my mom, I don't have my dad here, he's out doing whatever, he's not around, but I'm still gonna make something of myself despite not knowing my indigenous status back then and feeling black, and that really bothered me, feeling black, being bullied for my skin color because white supremacy says that my skin color is ugly, and if you're not white then you're ugly, and if you're dark skinned you really ugly. That's how it was back then growing up. And they teach their kids to know these things some kind of way. Even melanated kids don't like their skin color because, oh, it's dark. You know, my mom, before she passed, she told me the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Hey, black is beautiful back in the day. But when I became of age and I'm like, hey, I have to work, I can't let poverty suck me in. I didn't know that I was fighting against politicians, racist Christopher Columbus, white supremacy, all these barriers and stereotypes put in place so that a person like me wouldn't make it out, so that a person like me wouldn't be able to understand ever who I truly am, so that a person like me would never question what I've been taught from K through 12 and never question Christopher Columbus, so that a person like me would never become a doctor, so that a person like me wouldn't even pursue going to college, because I don't have no parents, I don't have no money, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So the person like me would never make it out. I didn't know the odds that I was up against until now. I thought things were just like that. But now that I look back at this whack-ass government, how they put things in place to keep melanated copper tone people down, it's fucking sickening, man. It really is when I go back and look back. But it wasn't enough to hold me down. It's not enough to hold you down, my Niji. So whatever's going on now, if you still hanging in there, you still surviving like me with this dental practice, I have to say I'm proud as hell, coming from not being able to get loans, self-investing, standing on business, doing this for nearly 3 years now, taking care of the community, sometimes not being able to pay myself, enjoy life, travel, you know, facing not being able to open sometimes. It gets fucking tough. It really gets tough. And then I'm in a whole new city with no family support in this city. I don't have anybody to call to say, hey, my business is struggling, could you loan me some? Because they look at you crazy when you're the doctor, because it's like, oh, you're the doctor, you got to have it all figured out. But baby, listen, when poverty steps in, you don't have it figured out. You just keep going. You keep grinding. You keep showing up. Even though the shit look shady, it look crazy, you don't really understand. You keep going. And in times like this, you got to keep going, my Niji. Keep getting multiple streams of income. Continue to try to push for your business. Continue to just show up for yourself. That's like me showing up here on Twitch night after night. This is my 22nd night in a row talking to an empty chat. Just having a dream, having an obstacle to overcome, and continuing to push despite the shortcomings. This is what we have to do. So regardless of what happens to my business, Motivational Dentistry, regardless of what happens with this economy, we still must stay and remain optimistic. Prepare for the unexpected and just love on your tribe and stick together. These are unprecedented times. No one knows the outcome. People can only theorize what's going on. But what we learned tonight is that, number one, the government don't care. Number two, they're going to do what they got to do because, you know, Trump feels like he's a dictator and he feels like he's in control and he doesn't really care. These politicians don't really care. And things are going to be different. They are just going to be different. And there's not much we can do about it now. Hopefully, we can bond together as a global community, as an indigenous Niji community, and as just a nation to come to grips with the truth, to tell the truth so that we can get this country back in order. But as long as we continue to hide the truth, cover up the truth, highlight people who really made the country worse, highlight people who were thieves, liars, unalivers, you know, people who just attack innocent indigenous people just for existing. Hopefully we can stop teaching this pseudo history in school. It's just an attack on every part of life. And I never, in my nearly 40 years of living, thought I would be dealing with this. Like, I thought that, you know, when you finish grad school and you finish your doctoral degree, you open up your business, or you go and work for somebody, you know, you're a dentist now, you work so hard that you kind of can afford to live and travel. Things are different now. Things are very, very different. And if you come from poverty along this route, it is really, really tough. It's super, super tough. I used to feel so bad when my business wasn't doing good. I used to feel so bad. It used to have me depressed. It used to have me sad because I'm like, I didn't come from anything. I've been fighting to overcome poverty and to make something and to make people proud. But like last year, I'm like, people are maybe proud. I don't know, but it's just like, I had this feeling of I've been trying and trying for so long. And I had an urge to just want to quit. But this year I'm different because I know who I am. I know the odds that have been planted and stacked up against me since Christopher Columbus stepped foot in the West Indies. You know, to make it far, my Niji, to still have your head on your shoulders, to try to make something of yourself, we got to pat ourselves on the back for that. So I pat myself on the back for showing up. I pat myself on the back for pushing through, getting a college education, getting a master's education, going to doctoral school, going to general practice residency, and then opening up a business in these times against those odds. You know? So it just goes to show you out there that you can do anything. We're going to make it through anything. We're going to make it through. But we just have to stick together, continue to share the knowledge, continue to be unapologetic about who we are, my Niji. Okay? Trump is going crazy. The politics is going crazy. And ain't none of them in our favor. So you can get that out of your head. They're not in our favor. So this is a battle that we have to continue to promote and push along. Okay? And if you out there in the world, you going through this and you feeling the negativity, don't let it consume you. Take time to continue to smell the fresh air. Go to the beach, have fun with your family. A lot of people are cooking at home. Cook together. Just prepare yourself for this economic catastrophe that is brewing and that we don't know what tomorrow brings. All right? So I think my time is up on here. If you watch this on the replay, make sure you are following, and you can join me live on Twitch every night, even tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know what we'll be discussing, but who knows? A lot of people are talking about preparing for what's about to happen, the collapse, all this stuff. I'm over it. I'm literally over it already. Like, I don't even want to deal with no collapse. I don't want to deal with all this stuff. Like, am I the only one who don't really want to deal with this shit right now? I just want to go to work, run it up, take a vacation. Now y'all threatening a vacation. It just, I said I was going to be done rambling. And I am. But you know, my stream is kind of where I get to express myself, and yeah. It's just like bad news YouTube. It's bad news YouTube. Bad news YouTube. Yeah. So yeah, this has been a heavy topic, but I feel like a lot of these things had to be discussed. They had to be discussed. You know, they had to be discussed. And I don't know. But you know what, my Niji, I will stay on top of it for you guys and let you know